Well, it's a bittersweet day from the standpoint, really excited for Coach Tang and him having an opportunity to be a head coach in the Big 12 and at Kansas State. At the same time, whenever you work with someone for 19 years, it's like a family member moving away. It's hard. So been some tears and obviously going to miss him. The great thing about him being in the Big 12, we get to see him on the road recruiting more because you'll be in the area, obviously, and then get to see him Big 12 meetings. I guess that makes those meetings more exciting now, although they're always very good. But definitely excited for him.
First question from John Warner with the Wake Tribune Herald.
Hey, Scott, can you maybe just talk a little bit more
John,
about?
I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
It's a great question, John.
It's the best one I had all day. Yeah, Scott, can you just maybe talk a little bit more about, what Jerome did to build this program, and then also what you might be looking for as a replacement?
Great questions. First, I have 3 children, and all of them were born after we got here. So I've been with Coach Tang longer than my kids. And the before and after pictures, the wives haven't changed how they look, but Coach Tang and I definitely have aged. The good thing with him is his gray hair. He can always do something with mine. I'm losing. So anyway, we've done everything together. And we do everything as a staff. And that's the way my dad ran it at Valpo, and that's how I've learned it. And I think that's partly why Coach Mills, Driscoll, McCaslin have had so much success, is because they've basically been head coaches and done it. And Coach Tang, same exact thing. He does have the all-time best record, I think, at Baylor, 4-0. So again, every facet of the game and every facet of the program he's been involved with. As far as we do have a plan, and we'll probably have an announcement in the next couple of weeks once it gets finalized.
Next question from Kellis Robinette.
Yeah, Scott, thanks for doing this. First off,
Well,
can you take me back, almost 20 years ago now, and tell me how you and Jerome met up and what made you hire him in the first place?
Well, the first reason I hired him is he was at a Heritage Christian high school and built it to a powerhouse, and they didn't have the best facilities, resources, and he was able to transform and change that. And several people that I respected talked very highly of him. And then when I had a chance to meet him and spend time with him, as all the new media people that get a chance to work with them daily and weekly will find out, he's a great guy. He's an outstanding husband, father, role model, great Christian man, high character, great energy. And you guys are gonna love working with him and spending time with him. He's gonna treat you fair, and he's gonna respect you.
I had heard that maybe one of his promises to you when you took a chance on him was that he was going to get his degree somehow, some way. What was that like, to hire a guy who hadn't even technically been through college at that point? Well,
he had stopped because they had their first, and he needed to support his family, and his degree was very important to him. And I really obviously know the importance of that, but respected him for wanting to do it and know the importance of it. And he said it's never going to interfere with work. And I think he worked like all of us those first few years, especially, on probably 5-6 hours sleep. He probably just got 4 because the last 2 were spent studying.
And one more for you. You hear all the time, he's ready to be head coach. He's been ready forever. What in your mind do you think makes him so ready for this position?
Well, he's done it. He's been a high school coach. He's also coached other aspects and teams from, like, when I 4 games, he's 4-0. And 2 of those are Big 12 wins, Texas Tech at Texas Tech and First Texas versus Washington, Louisiana Lafayette. But or Louisiana University now. But the big thing is every day all our assistant coaches are like head coaches. They all have input. They all coach. They all coach different positions. They're all responsible for different facets of the game. They take ownership of it. And he's, I mean, we probably have better practices when I was out of town recruiting, and those guys were running them. So he's done it and does it daily.
Thanks, Scott. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Next question from David Smoke.
Scott, obviously after the game, the emotions were all over the place, but was there any part of you at that time that you knew you had coached your from?
I knew that he would have opportunities just like he's had opportunities in the past. So I didn't know for sure it would be the last game with him, but I knew there was a chance. And obviously he's always had a goal to be a head coach at the Division I level, but different than a lot of coaches. He's been selective throughout the years. I think Tommy Lloyd showed the value of being selective and picking the right job. Coach Tang's done the exact same thing. And when you feel called and led to a job and it's the right job, your chance of being successful is a lot higher.
Next question from Todd Lebo.
Hey, Coach, once again, thanks again for doing this for us. People nowadays probably forget how hard it was at Baylor when you guys first took the job. Can you give me a story or two about what Coach Tang meant to you guys as you built through all the difficult times that people have kind of forgotten at this point because you've risen to such high levels?
Well, I mean, when we first got to Baylor, a lot of times we'd call recruits and it was Baylor and no interest, hang up, goodbye. Can we get in your house? Nope, bye. I mean, and Coach Tang's positivity throughout all of that is a big reason why we were able to in his hard work was why we were able to be successful. At the same time, when we first started out, I mean, Coach Tang, if he drove all night, spent the night in his car, I mean, whatever it took to get to point A to point B, he was going to do. And as far as just always doing it with a positive attitude and doing it in a way that represented the university at the highest. I think our first year, we were trying anything to motivate our guys when you're playing between 5 and 7 scholarship guys and in the Big 12 and half a team of walk-ons. And I think he was notorious for playing the drums on a trash can before we went out to get us fired up. I brought the jock jams. I think he had better rhythm, so he jumped on the trash can. But I think Coach Tang has been the same throughout. What I mean by that, extremely hard work and high character, very loyal, very passionate, and he treats people the right way. And he always sees the good, and he'll have high expectations. I mean, he came to Baylor because he wanted to win national championships. And we're going to cheer for him at K-State, except for when he plays us. So hopefully we're both in the national championship game together.
Next question from Matt Mosley.
Scott, I'm curious what advice you gave Jerome as he was looking at some of these different opportunities. I'm talking about in this cycle specifically. And why do you think K-State might be a good fit for him? I mean, it's been a tough place, but they have certainly had some success over the years.
Well, I think first and foremost, he prayed about it and he felt a peace and led to go there. And that's the biggest advice I always give any coaches, because you can never take a job for outside people telling you to take it, or you can't take it for money or prestige. You have to take it because you feel a calling, and he feels that. And he likes the community, the smaller community atmosphere, and he loves the passion of the fans. I mean, we play up there. Octagon of Doom's a great name, and their fans are passionate, and the coaches they've had have been tremendous coaches that have always gotten their players to compete. And I think their fans appreciate teams that play well together and compete at the highest level. Plus, being in the Big 12, I mean, you look at it, we have 3 teams in the Sweet 16, set the NCAA record for widest margin of victory in the first round. And very easily. Two of us lost in overtime. I think going back to your question, Smoke, if I knew it was the last time, if I knew it was the last game for sure, we'd have won in overtime because I wouldn't have wanted it to be the last game. But the Big 12, it's the best conference in the country. And you can win a national championship, and variety of teams that compete in the Big 12 each year can do that.
Next question from Kellis Robinette.
One more here from me. I know he grew up, on the islands, being born in Trinidad or whatever. Is there any quirky stories you can say, that he does that kind of shows that?
Well, first and foremost, with COVID, Coach Tang learned how to become a chef. So he's got some cooking expertise. But whenever his mom's in town, he'll always bring me some leftover curry and island food, and it is the best. But him coaching the Virgin Islands national team is something that he's been passionate about and helped to develop and progress his career, because it's a great way to expand. And I think he's somebody that if you ever love Caribbean food, if you can get some leftovers, he'll probably invite you over for the main course. I always got the leftovers, but you'll love that.
And he cooks that all himself?
Yeah, he during COVID, he took his game to another level. So his wife Ray's really excited that she doesn't do all the cooking anymore. So now I don't know who does the dishes, but as far as Coach Tang's a man of many talents.
All right, thanks.
Next question from John Morris.
Coach, we just recorded a podcast with Coach Tang. One of the stories, could you tell your version of going to his house and having the meal, having the ribs there as you hired him?
Yeah, one thing my dad always said is you get to know someone when you go to their house. Who he said going to see Coach Tang and spending time with his family was a great idea. Now, I would never have gone, or I'd have brought the food if I knew. He tells a story that he only had $10 and I think 81 cents or 18 cents. I got some dyslexia in me, but it was their last 1081 he put together. And I'll be honest, it was a great meal and I felt terrible afterwards hearing the story. But I joke with him now, because when he met with Kansas State, I think they got more than one rib at the meal.
Next question from Curtis Quillen with KCNTV.
Scott, it's been a few years since you've had to replace one of your three assistants that can go on the road and help you recruit. I mean, obviously you mentioned you have a plan, but how do you approach this, having done this before, especially given the last time you replaced one of those three, he was leaving for a head job then?
Yeah, I definitely, coaches always know other people that they would like to work with and think would do a good job. A big thing is staff chemistry, and a big reason for our success has been staff continuity. And I mean, all of you can relate when you take a new job. That first year, it's more a transition, and that second and third year, you're really clicking on all cylinders. And it's just like players. Normally, the longer they stay in a program, the more productive and better they are. So with us, staff chemistry has been huge, and we'll make sure that who we bring in fits in well with what we have, and what adjustments we make with that keeps our culture intact and progressing like it has.
Next question from Darby Brown.
Yeah, hey, Coach. What do you think Coach Tang has meant to the current players, just from a relationship standpoint, and how have they sort of handled this news?
Well, obviously, everyone was excited for him, kind of like when our players go to the NBA, you're excited that they've reached their goals and dreams and are ready for the next step, or when they graduate and they're ready for the next step. At the same time, there is a sadness, because you do, why we've been successful is you like who you're with. And one of our chapel services this year, Coach Jake has talked about it's who you do the journey with is so important. And life is short. You look back at it, and what really matters is not position, title, salary. What matters is who you're with and how you do life with them, and do they make you better, and do you appreciate them? And we've had a family knit staff and program, and when you have people care for each other, normally they produce higher, and iron sharpens iron, as we always say. So he's been a big part of all that. Players are excited that he has the opportunity, but disappointed that he's obviously leaving.
Next question from Jack Allen.
Yes, I was just wondering what that conversation was like when he told you that he was leaving. Did you give him any final advice, or how did that kind of play out?
I could see the before, when he's contemplated things, was different. This time there was peace, there was joy, there was excitement. So when you see someone excited, you're excited. So after the hug, then the tears came. Again, 19 years is a long time. So true blessing, and speaks to his character and loyalty, because in today's day and age, it's so often taught, keep progressing, make as much as you can, get the best title, be a head coach, whatnot. And he always told me his goal was to be the best assistant coach I've ever had, and to be loyal and serve the program. And that's why he's so successful, and a big reason why our program was so successful.
Next question from Eric Kelly.
Coach, obviously you'd like to keep all the talented assistants that you have, but how much of a sense of personal pride do you have when you kind of see your own little coaching tree expanding and kind of growing branches every couple of years?
Well, I think again, that's the bittersweet part of it, is you miss them, you miss being around them, but at the same time, you are really excited. Just like I think when most kids leave for college, there's probably some excitement, but then also some tears, because you're going to miss them. But you're excited they're ready for the next step, and you're excited to be able to have been a part of the previous part they had.
Next question from Kendall Cow.
Scott, two-parter. Not going to ask you for names, but you expect maybe anybody else on the staff might join Jerome in Manhattan. And then in 2014, you all go from 2-8 to the Sweet 16. Are there any moments from that season that really stick out to show kind of what you think Jerome can do in Manhattan?
Yeah, the first part, I think he knows what he's going to do, and we know what we're going to do, and we're going to have our staff here, and he's going to make some additions there. Your second part was, I heard 2-8. What was that?
Yeah, so Scott, 2014, y'all go from 2-8 in the Big 12 to the Sweet 16. Any moments from that season that kind of stick out to show the world what you and Jerome, especially Jerome at K-State, might be able to do to turn things around and be successful?
Yeah, well, I mean, this year it's a different day and age than back then. I mean, you look at Iowa State and how they turned things around this year, and TJ's done a remarkable job. But with the transfer portal, you don't have to wait 2-3 years to get old, get experience, get talented players, bring in enough experience and talent to win right away. So I think recruiting is different than it was in 2014. I think in 2014, you had the team, you weren't off to a good start. You were able to change mid-season, and that might be harder to do now than to reload from the standpoint. There's no additions, changes, and what you've done at 2-8 wasn't good enough. And but all those experiences and positivity and energy and never quit attitude, I mean, he's going to bring to K-State and do a tremendous job.
Next question from Kevin Longquist.
Scott, I had a two-parter as well. Just to piggyback on what Eric was asking about the coaching tree and the success beyond, what qualities do you think it is within your program beyond the success that's been able to see guys like Paul and Grant and now Jerome move on to other spots? And then when you are and then the second part is, when you are putting this staff together, do you think the assignments for who will be doing what will be mainly what it was prior to when Jerome was there, that person who takes that spot will be in that role? Or could you see that shifting around a little bit?
Good question. So first, I think why you love sports and why I love working with young people is you have a chance to have an impact in their lives. And one thing that translates for sure in any profession, high character, work ethic, being able to be a great team player, teammate. And I think anyone that we've tried to hire would be successful in coaching, would be successful in any other job or in life, because they have the basic qualities you look for to be successful. Just like everyone you guys work with, you want someone that's going to be a hard worker. They're going to be good at their craft. They're going to be a great teammate. They're going to be respectful, loyal. So those basic characteristics. At the same time, I think coaching, I like coaching is every year it's different as your team. Now, you don't like your team changing as much as ours had to during the course of the year with all the injuries, but you like good coaches always adjust to what their personnel are. And with our staff, it gives us a chance to reset and do things a little different. And what I mean different is we always adjust responsibilities and whatnot, so things don't get stale, they don't get old, people stay motivated, inspired, growing. And at the same time, you always want to put people in their biggest strengths because you want to win and be successful. So we'll finalize our staff, and then after that, we don't just plug in someone and say, you do what Coach Tang did. We have these guys that do what they do. We always grow and change and adjust and try to get better each year.